Sorry, had to get white girl wasted before we get into this. Welcome to the metaverse. Now you probably clicked on this video for one of two reasons. First one being the incredibly handsome person in the thumbnail, or option two, which is you are completely new to NFTs and tired of seeing everyone around you get rich, while you're sitting there plucking the Cheetos out of your belly button. I'm going to guess about 99.9% of you clicked on for reason number one. So for the 0.1%, the rest of the video is for you. Now keep in mind that I did make a similar video to this already right here, which I'll leave the link to in the description below, where I talk about how to flip NFTs, create NFTs, and things like that. I also go a little bit in depth about how to start and misconceptions of the space. But this time around, I'm gonna go much, much deeper and in depth so that your NFT locker is worth more than your Fortnite locker. Probably not as worth as much as my Fortnite locker though. I spent way too much money on that game. I regret everything. Also, before we get into this, we did do a giveaway on Twitter for all of you subscribers out there. The winner of that giveaway will be announced somewhere randomly in this video, so make sure to stick around because you never know when I'll throw it at you. Like now. Just kidding. Just making sure you're on your toes. So before we get into the steps, let's talk about misconceptions. That's right, folks, there is a female version of conceptions. That was a good joke and you can't tell me otherwise. There's this misconception that you need thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars to get started in the NFT world, or crypto in general. And that, my friend, is false. You don't need much money at all. For instance, altcoins, you can literally invest 1 cent. That's right, folks, you can invest the same amount that this YouTube channel is worth and make money. Now, NFTs are a bit more expensive. So when you start NFTs, in order to make quick and good money, you want to find good projects to flip at mint, which I'll discuss later on in the video. Or you can find a project with the lowest floor possible, which is 0.01 ETH, equivalent to $37. Now, I wouldn't recommend this because if it's something that is that low, it's probably not worth investing in. However, I've seen projects boom out of nowhere being that low. So hey, if that's the risk that you want to take, go for it. Invest the $37 into an NFT. Instead of that Steam game you'll literally play once and never play again. Then a year later, forget it ever existed. Misconception number two is that you have to be some sort of high IQ, data studying, super intelligent nerd to be good at NFTs. Now, although that might be true more towards the altcoin side of things, NFTs most certainly not. Clearly not, because I used high IQ and super intelligent as an example in the same sentence, and they both mean the exact same thing, and I'm pretty good at NFTs. I also once got gum stuck between my butt cheeks, so keep that in mind when getting involved in this. By the way, I actually did get gum stuck between my butt cheeks, that I wasn't using that as a joke. I'll tell you the story sometime, around never. However, I will say this, you cannot be lazy with this if you want to succeed. You can't just sit back and do nothing and expect money to fly into your wallet, although that would be pretty nice. There's some things that you have to do in order to make it, which we will talk later on in the video. Misconception number three, only the rich get richer. That's about as true as me saying DC movies are better than Marvel movies. It's just false. I've personally seen my friends who started with very little get pretty damn rich. Anything is possible if you put in the work. So with the misconceptions finally out of the way, let's get into this, shall we? Step one. Go over to metamask.io. Download it and make yourself an account. Go through all the steps it tells you to do. I won't sit here and tell you every step because it's pretty self-explanatory. If you can't get through that part, then you probably sleep with your socks on, because people who sleep with their socks on are monsters with low IQ. I'm just kidding. But seriously, how do you guys do that? What is the actual science behind that? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, once you make your account, it'll appear in your browser as an add-on. If you're not using Google Chrome, then you might as well be using AOL, you boomer, because Google Chrome has it built in and it makes it nice and simple. I've never used any other browser, so if you're using Internet Explorer like a caveman or anything else, then you're on your own, but I'm sure it works similar. Once you have your account, you can make multiple wallets, especially if you plan on sharing the account with your dog or pet turtle, or if you plan on having certain wallets linked to certain NFT projects, which people tend to do, or maybe for trading and so on. Underneath your name, you will see a code that is a bunch of numbers and letters that look like hieroglyphics. That code will be the code you send to people for transactions or fake giveaways on Twitter, where the person asks for your wallet, then proceeds to literally never send anything. Hey, you people who fall for it, they're just doing it for attention and interactions, and you're giving it to them. Step number two, create an OpenSea account or an account on a site where you want to start. If you're going to start on the ETH blockchain, then OpenSea is where I'd recommend. Honestly, OpenSea is where I'd recommend starting in general, but it's completely up to you. However, if you want to start on other blockchains and sites, feel free to do so. So once you create that OpenSea account, go swimming. Yes, that was a pun. And I got plenty more coming, so buckle up. Once you find a project you'd like to invest in or an NFT you want to buy, you have to click add funds to your MetaMask. And how do you do that? Glad you asked. Simply click add funds. You can buy ETH with a debit card. No, you can't use Fortnite V-Bucks or Roblox Bucks. Then simply purchase the NFT you had your eyes on. Now here's where it gets rough. gas prices. No, not the gas you put in your car, although those gas prices are also complete crap. Gas prices are the #1 complaint in the industry. This can literally turn something that was $400 into $4,000. And no, I'm not exaggerating. I've seen way worse. So you have multiple options when this occurs. You can either wait till the traffic has lowered and the gas prices go down, or if you're fighting traffic to snatch up a fresh mint, then here is what you do. Editor, can you show the image on the screen, please? Just follow those exact steps if you want to lower gas prices. If that little tip didn't earn me a sub right there or a like on this video, then maybe this will. And now if you don't like this, then I don't know what kind of monster you are. Now for more incredible information like this, follow us on Twitter here. Now back to the steps. Step number 3, make a Twitter and Discord account. Now I know that most of you probably have one of the two. The reason that I'm saying this is because these are the two most important in the industry. You have to keep up with both at all times to know what's going on in the communities. Discord is the best for just being a part of the project's community and finding news about that particular project. For instance, mint dates, sneak peeks, or just news in general. Whereas Twitter is the best source for finding out projects coming out, what project is hyped and has the NFT world's interest. If you're seeing everyone and their mother retweeting stuff from a specific project or talking about it, you know you're gonna wanna get in on it. Now I know most of you probably prefer Facebook, where you can keep up to date with your family's newest political opinions, or Instagram, where you can see what your sister had for breakfast. But those really are just not important here. Well, now once we are done with all these steps here, I will dive deeper and tell you how to find these upcoming projects and how to avoid misleading projects. So those are the basic steps on how to get started. Well, those are the core foundations of the main process. Now the rest of this video is going to be going into detail of how to make money. But first, a word from our sponsors. This video is sponsored by absolutely no one, because we don't get enough views yet or have enough subs. What a depressing sponsor. So now that's over, let's get into it. Number 1, how to find upcoming projects. So to find upcoming projects and ones that are worth investing into, here's what you do. Head over to rarity.tools/upcoming or rarityranks.io. Scroll down the page to find a project. Now please keep in mind not to only find a project that appeals to your eye. Be open-minded that just because something doesn't look cool to you or appealing in general doesn't mean the project isn't worth a lot of money. For example, look at CryptoPunks. CryptoPunks looks like a 7-year-old tripped on a pack of Legos at preschool, then fell face first into a box of crayons, and those particular crayons splattered all over a piece of paper. Then a lawnmower accidentally rolled over it, which was then followed up by a sumo wrestler sitting on it while eating McDonald's, and that McDonald's grease landed on the paper to forge what is known as this thing. Yes, it's worth millions of dollars, so anything can be worth something. So here's what you will do. Find a project such as this one right here, Kindergarten Baby Apes, which brings me to my next point. If you see a project with the word apes in it and has similar art to this, it will do well. Trust me on this. There are literally 9 billion ape projects that spawn a day and they all do well. It's incredibly weird. So if you see a project called something like Doodle Donkey Diddly Doo Doo Peter Piper picked a patch of CryptoPunk Baby Bottle Pop Apes, it'll do well. Click the project's Twitter and Discord to see what type of following or hype they have around them. So here we have the Kindergarten Baby Apes Discord, and they have 32,000 Discord members, which is really freaking good. And they also have about 6,000 Twitter followers. Tip time. If it's a 10,000 NFT line and they already have 10,000 people in their Twitter or Discord, then it will probably sell out fast, which means you can make money on it. Now here's where it gets interesting. I'm about to tell you something that no one really talks about in these types of videos, but I will, because I'm awesome and you love me, right? Good, because I love you too. So a lot of projects will bot their socials to create an illusion of hype, when in reality they have about as much hype as Ninja got at Times Square.
No, it just moves. I want to see some movement. I'm not seeing enough movement.
Man, that was awkward. And there is one way that you could tell they botted their social medias, and here's how. For Twitter, if they have 20,000 Twitter followers, yet every time they tweet they get as much interaction on their posts as your grandmother does when she posts on Facebook a picture of the lasagna she made today, then they are botted. Because a Twitter following that big should be averaging a high interaction rate. Now for Discord, it's even easier to tell. All you have to do is look at how many members they have compared to how many are actually online. So if they have 20,000 members in their Discord but only 200 people online, they botted their Discord. Now trust me, I get why people do this. It's a business tactic. They want to create the illusion that there's a hype around their project. But yet, you can kind of tell if you join their Discord and it's a complete ghost town with nobody typing. So I beg of you, please make sure to pay attention to that. Because you might get all excited and then on mint day, there's no sales. Then you wind up with an NFT you can't sell, which winds up being a loss. We only want gains here. Speaking of mint day, that brings me to the next subject. Minting, which can vary from project to project because they all mint in different ways, or reveal in different ways. Some will be instant, or others reveal within 24 hours. I've seen longer than that as well. So you have to make moves accordingly. So let's break this down. So let's say the project has a reveal the same night you mint it, but you got a few hours in between until you know exactly which one you got. These are your options. Option 1. You can sell at the current floor price, which a majority of the time winds up being one of the project's highest since everyone is involved on the hype in the moment. This is known as FOMO, or fear of missing out. And if you never want to miss out, hit that sub button and turn on notifications to see when our videos go live. Now you gotta admit, that was a little slick promotion right there. Never have a FOMO. Just sell to those who are, because people will panic buy and sometimes pay you more than it's actually worth just because they're looking like this and you're looking like this. Although this is a great play, you do take a risk. Although the risk is minimal compared to other options, because you still make more than what you started with. You do take the risk of losing out on a lot more money than you could have gotten. This option is known as paper hands, someone who sells quick for fast money. The reason you could have made more money is if you sell pre-reveal, you could have had a super rare NFT that was way worth more than the floor price that you sold it for. Hell, it could have even been worth $100,000 or more for all you know. You also lose out on the options we will discuss here in a bit, known as diamond hands. And after that, there's Edward Scissorhands. Okay, I made that one up, but it seemed fitting. Diamond hands is when you hold an NFT for a long period of time, or just hodl in general, which leads me to option 2, which I'm sure you could guess is diamond hands. This play is a coin flip. You're playing with fate and the NFT gods on this one. However, higher risk, high reward, right? The downside to this option is that the project could get rugged or flop completely and wind up being worth less than what you originally minted for. The upside is that in the future, the project could boom and the floor price skyrockets, making your NFT worth so much more than what you minted for. Now, one thing you might want to consider with this option is 2 things. Do your research and find out who is supporting this project or see how loyal the community is. Are there big celebrities backing it? Crypto influencers? Is Lord Farquaad buying in? Because if he is, then I'm buying in. Look to see if the project has good utility. Utility basically means that by buying into a project, you get specific benefits. To give you an example, by owning a Dogepound NFT, you get whitelist access to future projects, which equals more money for you, the holder. Another example is this YouTube channel's utility. If you subscribe to this channel and like this video, I will like you that much more. Oh, we also do giveaways all the time. That's probably a bigger selling point than me liking you more, so I probably should have started with that. Now, before we get into option 3, which is after 2, in case you didn't know how to count, it's time to announce the winner of the last giveaway. Editor, drumroll, please. Congratulations to NS8 Dogecoin, you are the winner. I will slide into your DMs later tonight. Okay, so back to the options. Now, option 3 is something that I won't go too into detail because I don't know much about. This option is also the riskiest and I wouldn't recommend it. That option is trading. Trading is exactly what it sounds like. You can exchange an NFT you own for another person's NFT that they own in hopes that one you get winds up being worth more. Honestly, to me, by doing this, you're just asking to get scammed. You might as well run into a police station with a shirt on that says "Arrest me, I did it," because it's pretty much the same thing. So that's all I'm going to say about trading, because it's really beyond my knowledge and the risks to me just aren't worth it. Okay, that's all the steps on how to get started and tricks on how to find upcoming projects and make money. I'm hoping that all of this does help you and that I can help some of you accomplish your New Year's resolutions. Ah, you want to know my New Year's resolution, huh? Thanks for asking. You sound like a great person. Oh, well, since you asked, mine is to hit 100,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. So make sure to hit that sub button. Okay, before we go, I'm going to give you one last pile of information. I know some of you guys are coming into this space in hopes to create NFTs, not just sell. I will make another video on this going super in depth about it in the future, but for now, here's what I'll tell you. If you're an artist looking to sell your work, there are multiple sites to do it, such as Openc, Known Origin, Foundation, and many more. If you want to succeed as an artist, just be consistent and active in the community, especially on Twitter. There are many ways to promote your work on social media, so abuse them all. Just don't abuse me because I'm fragile. So in the comments below, guys, please give out any helpful information to people who are new to the space. We want to welcome as many people as we can with open arms and make this mainstream. This is now the digital renaissance age for artists, so take advantage of that. Hopefully all this information helped you. If it didn't, please call 1-800-THIS-VIDEO-WAS-CRAPPY.com. Batteries are not included. Love you guys, and we will see you in the next one.